Welcome, class 5s, for today's C.R.E. lesson. We are still looking at the covenants that God has made with His people. And today, we are going to look at the covenants in relation to Jeremiah. Now, earlier on, we looked at the covenant in relation to Moses. And we said that the covenant in relation to Moses is also called, very good, it's also called the Old Covenant. And God gave that covenant on Mount Sinai. Excellent. Now, even though God had made a covenant with the children of Israel through Moses, these children or these people of Israel continued sinning against God. And God found it necessary to go back to them and bring them back to Himself. And therefore, He looked for this man called Jeremiah. Jeremiah, who was a prophet, who was his prophet. And therefore, He made a covenant through him. Now, who was Jeremiah? Jeremiah was called by God when he was a young person. He was called by God when he was a young person. And when God called him, he first of all refused to go. He first of all refused to do the work that God wanted him to do. Why? This is because he was young. He was young. And did not have words. He did not have words. He did not have words that he would tell people. Did not know what he would tell the people. But God took him and gave him words that he would speak to the people on what he wanted. Now, Jeremiah was the son of a man called Hilkiah. Was the son of Hilkiah, a man who served God. And so, God used Jeremiah for this new covenant. Now, God had promised destruction of Israel. God promised destruction of Israel. And He made the Israelites suffer. He made them suffer under the Babylonians. And while they were there, they cried to God to come and rescue them. They cried to God. They cried to God to come and rescue them. And God had them. And that is how Jeremiah came into being. Now, this covenant in relation to Jeremiah is also called the New Covenant. It's also called the New Covenant. It was coming not to replace the old one, but to strengthen it, to make it better for the Israelites to follow. And which are some of the characteristics? The characteristics of the new covenant. Which are some of the things that God expected the Israelites to do according to the new covenant? Now, one is that people would be punished for their own sins. So now, God made it a person's responsibility to suffer for their own sins, to suffer for their own sin, to suffer for their own transgressions. Initially, in the covenant according to Moses, if a person did wrong, the whole community was punished. But now here, God made it a personal responsibility. You will suffer for your own sins. You will be punished for your own sins. Number 2, the law of God, the laws would be written in people's hearts. In people's hearts. In the people's hearts. Now, in the covenant in relation to Moses, we learned that the covenant, the rules, the laws were written on, very good, they were written on a stone tablet. But here, now God says that the laws, his laws, will be written in each person's heart. In each person's heart. Why? So that it can be your responsibility to know God. So each person would take the responsibility of knowing God. It was now your personal responsibility to know God, to search and know God as an individual, not collectively, but you as a person by yourself. Now, another characteristic of this covenant that was given to Jeremiah to pass to the people or to the children of Israel was that God would forgive our sins. God would forgive. God would forgive our sins and not remember them. God will forgive our sins and not remember them. Therefore, whenever we ask for God's forgiveness, He forgives and forgets. He will not keep on reminding you of what you did last time, the other time, but He will forgive you and forget. Now, another thing in this covenant, it would be between God and an individual. It will be between God and an individual. So, just like we said, each person will be responsible of their own sins. Here, it will be you and your God. You answer to Him. He will come to you directly and ask you why you did this. Why are you not doing as the law says, as His law says? It will also be you to go to Him and tell Him what you want. Therefore, it is important that we learn these characteristics and we keep them in mind for us to remember them all the time. So that brings us to the end of our lesson. We're going to continue from there another time. Thank you.